I'm a pretty new fan to the Fast and Furious saga. Up until this point, I had only seen less than half of them, so with the recent release of F9, I decided to sit down for a whole week and watch every Fast and Furious movie. And now with the full experience of everything this franchise has to offer, I thought it would be the best time to do a ranking video of every mainline entry in the series so far. Starting off at number 9, we got Fast and Furious 4. This one really isn't that bad, it's just that I think it's the most boring one. It starts off strong with the franchise's coolest action scene up to that point, but the story and villain are largely forgettable. It also doesn't add any new characters to the main cast, and the whole point of the revenge plot with Letty being killed is kinda pointless since she's revealed to be alive in the next movie.
You got something to eat up in there? We hungry.
At number 8, we got Too Fast, Too Furious. The main reason why this one is close to the bottom is because it's basically just a copy and paste of the first movie, but with a more bland story, which apparently is why Vin Diesel didn't even want to be in it. I feel like the strength of this movie lies more with the new characters it introduced. You got fan favorites like Roman and Tej, and even the villain Carter was pretty good for this franchise. The rat interrogation scene was probably one of the most menacing scenes a villain has had in this series. But yeah, other than Roman being Roman, some cool action beats near the end, and probably the best title in the series, this movie isn't really anything to write home about.
Yo!
Next, we got the original Fast and Furious. This movie isn't the best, but it definitely is interesting to watch nowadays knowing where the series went. I feel like this movie's strength is its story, or at least the concept of it. The whole theme of family that the series is known for is actually taken more seriously here, which is why the whole Brian and Dom relationship is a lot more engaging than it is in future movies. Watching Brian O'Connor decide whether or not to turn in his new friends in the end feels more impactful because of the more intimate moments we see him spend with them over the course of the film. In reality, it's definitely not a perfect script. The movie can get pretty boring at times, but the idea is still there, which I appreciate. Tokyo Drift is kinda hard for me to make a case for. It definitely doesn't have the best story or protagonist, but I think its entertainment relies more on its style over substance. For some reason, being set in Tokyo just gives it this fresh new atmosphere that the other movies don't have, and like the best Fast and Furious movies do, it also introduces some fun side characters like Twinkie and Han. Tokyo Drift also has one of the best soundtracks, and how can you not love that Dom cameo at the end? Again, not the best Fast movie, but it's the little things that make it shine. I feel like I'm gonna get some flack for putting this one this high on the list, but it comes down to pure entertainment. F9 gets a lot of shit for having way too unrealistic action scenes and putting too much effort into having a seriously convoluted storyline, but that absurdity is why I'd probably revisit this one over the other sequels I just talked about. The way the movie reintroduces old characters also makes the franchise feel like a Marvel universe at this point, which as a fan feels oddly rewarding to watch. In the end, the movie is definitely one of the worst ones, but I'd rather watch a laughably bad movie that knows what it is than an average one that's more boring. I don't really have much to say about Fast 6, other than the great action set pieces. There's nothing that this movie has that makes it stand out amongst the other sequels higher up on this list. It was cool to see The Rock's character Hobbs work with Dom's team this time around, but the rest of the team is basically the same as it was in the previous movie. The only cool thing about F6 is that the villain has his own team, which Roman points out is basically an evil version of Dom's team, but they don't really do much with that idea. The team's evil counterparts are basically just generic henchmen for them to fight like always. So yeah, it's a solid fun time, but doesn't have much to warrant putting it atop the next films on this list.
I will beat your ass like a Cherokee drum.
The Fate of the Furious is kind of an interesting one on the surface. In this one, Dom is actually one of the villains of the movie, so it does have that little mystery going for it regarding why Dom is doing evil shit, which was way better than the whole amnesia storyline with Letty in F6. But if you don't care for that, one of the best things this movie does is bring together Hobbs and Shaw, aka the fun dynamic that was so good that it warranted a spin-off. This movie really showed how great they are together, with their roast sessions having some of the best lines in the whole movie. I honestly can't see this movie being as entertaining without them. Furious 7 is one of the greats, mainly because of its creative action scenes and its villain. Deckard Shaw is still one of the series' best antagonists. He does a lot of things to piss off our main characters, and his one-on-ones with Dom are just as entertaining. That final fight with the crowbars is still one of my favorite scenes in this movie just because of how cool it looked. Of course, this was the final send-off for Paul Walker's character Brian, and like most people say, it was handled beautifully. The ending to this movie is iconic, and setting the final citywide battle in LA was a great callback to the first movie. So yeah, overall, F7 has everything a good Fast and Furious movie should have, even though its story was a little clunky due to the real world circumstances. Also, gotta love that Sean cameo. This movie was the first one that I actually enjoyed watching all the way through. Almost all these movies have dips in pacing during their runtime, but F5 is easily the most engaging. Since the action scenes aren't the most over the top, this movie has the tension that a lot of the sequels are missing too. It also brought together the main team most fans will recognize from this franchise. Everyone here is a fan favorite from the previous films, and not to mention introducing The Rock as one of the antagonists was such a great choice. He adds a lot of intensity and energy to this heist film and is exactly what this series needed to be reinvigorated. The film also has a really satisfying finale that in a way could have been the perfect ending to the entire franchise. So yeah, that's my ranking of the mainline Fast and Furious movies. If you disagree, comment below your ranking, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like these. See ya!